Good evening, lovely spirits. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Peace and wisdom. Now, Black History Month starts right now on my channel because I said so. As black people, we got to start getting strong. We can't just be following all the rules. Oh, Black History Month starts in February because that's what the Caucasian said. Nah. Black History Month starts right now because I said so. And what we're going to be discussing today is the Native American history. Now, I know amongst the black people in today's times, we all pull for the African ancestry. This is kind of popular right now, and it's a good thing because the African ancestry is a part of our lineage. But there's the other side as well, the Native Americans, the copper color people. Now we have to grasp, all of this happened in America, so the Native Americans are a part of your lineage, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. Now I know the African teachings is very popular, and we're all told to pull for that, and that's fine. But I just want to break down another side of our lineage that gets ignored a lot. The Native American side, the copper colors. And it's a very deep thing I want you guys to grasp. What I want to discuss today is the Cherokee Native Americans. Now, if you know them as Cherokee Indians, just remove Indian from your thought process. This was just a mistake that Europeans made when they first came, and they just referred to all the people here as Indians. But that was never the case amongst the people. So this is why I use the word Cherokee Native. Or in today's times, they use Cherokee Nation. But I want to discuss the Cherokee Native Americans. And it's a very deep thing because there's a lot of trickery in that word, Cherokee. That's an English word. But we know the Native Americans did not speak English. They spoke English later. So it's a deep thing I want to break down to you guys with this whole Cherokee thing. Now, prior to the word Cherokee and the natives being referred to as Cherokee, that particular tribe, prior to them being referred to as Cherokee, they referred to themselves as Aniyun. And this meant original people, or the principal people. And then later on, when they adopted the English language from the mixing and mingling, which I'll get into, this is where Cherokee came from. But prior to Cherokee, it was Aniyun. And like I said, that meant original people. Now, the Choctaw people, they called the Aniyun the Chalaki. And this meant the cave people, or the people that dwelt by the caves and the mountains. Now, Chalaki, which is Choctaw, that translates into English as Cherokee. So this is how you got the Aniyun being referred to as the Cherokee. The Europeans heard what the Choctaw referred to them as. And the Choctaw word was Chalaki. And when you translate Chalaki into English, it's Cherokee. But the original Cherokee people never referred to themselves as Cherokee. It had nothing to do with them. Now, when you translate Cherokee in the Niawea language, it's Salagi. So grasp. Some people may say, no, Solace, the Cherokee were not the Niawea. They called themselves the Salagi. No. Cherokee in their language was Salagi, but they called themselves the Niawea. So you have to grasp. People call them the Cherokee. And in their language, Cherokee is Salaki. But they are the Wiya. So you have to grasp my point. They're the Wiya. The Choctaw refer to them as the Chalaki. That's what the Choctaw called them. And the European got Cherokee from Chalaki. And he began to refer to the Wiya as Cherokee. And this is how they got that name. So now when the Europeans begin to merge or reproduce with the Wiya, which is the original Cherokee, you get offsprings. Half European, half Wiya. Now grasp. The offspring, they adopted the language in ways of their European fathers. They begin to refer to themselves as Cherokee. This is why you got the Wiya, because it was a separate thing in a sense. The Wiya was the original people. The Cherokee was the Wiya as well, but being as though they spoke English like their fathers, they refer to themselves as Cherokee, not Wiya. So you have to grasp. And the Wiya refer to them as Salaki. Basically to say they're not the originals, but they are from us. But they mixed with the European too. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. The black people you see today are the Wiya. And the Cherokee nations that you see today, because you have the Cherokee Nation, you have the United Kiti, you have the United Katiwa, I forgot the actual name, Kitiwa band. You got like 3 Cherokee nations in today's times. But if you look at them all, they look European a little bit. They don't have the copper color. And this is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. When the Europeans merged with the Wiya, this is how you got the Cherokee, which was the merging of the two. We know the Native Americans didn't speak English, the originals, but they kids, which was mixed, did. And this is how all that confusion happened. Now you got the black people of today times, the copper colors that you see amongst you. And some of us view ourselves as the Cherokee Nation, which we are. But we the Wiya, the original. All the little reserves you see, they truly belong to us. But the half-breeds that have more European blood, they got more motivation than the blacks. So they holding down the fort. I'm not mad at them in any way, because like I said, they are descendants as well. They just got more of the European blood in them than the blacks do. But the blacks are a little confused. We don't really know who we are. You got a lot of people saying the blacks belong in Africa and all of this, and that bothers me only because that's what white people told the Native Americans. That's what white people used to tell us. Go back to Africa, because they wanted to get us up out of here. They wanted the land. Get out of here, go back to Africa. They knew we didn't really know at that point after all the mixing and mingling. So it's a deep thing. Now my grandmother is Cherokee, still alive today. My grandmother and her mother and her sisters, they moved to Harlem from South Carolina in 1939. This is the year that my grandmother was born. So my grandmother was born in Harlem, but her sisters, her mother, they was born in South Carolina on the Cherokee tribe. Grass. My grandmother was born in 1939, still alive. They moved from South Carolina, the Cherokee tribe out there, in 1939, around that time, to Harlem, to New York. And the reason they did this is because they was pushed out in the Trail of Tears Act. Now they have the Trail of Tears Act happening sometime in 1800s and ending at some point. Meaning the Trail of Tears Act is when they was just kicking Native Americans out of their land, saying we occupying this and you gotta go. So it's a deep thing. And they have that at ending at some point in time, but it truly never ended. Because as I said, my grandmother and her mother and her sisters, they were pushed out of their tribe in South Carolina in 1979 and moved to New York. So it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now, in 1832, in Dalton, Georgia, you had the Cherokee Nation occupying Dalton, Georgia. Then in 1832, a Georgia statesman named Thomas Murray took what is called Murray County now. So he took a small part of Dalton, Georgia, not a small part, but he took a part of Dalton, Georgia, which was the Cherokee land, and he took some of their land and made it what is now called Murray County. And basically moved all the Native Americans from out of Dalton, Georgia, and moved all the white people in that Murray County area, which would have been the Cherokee land. And that's still there today in Georgia, and it's a deep thing because my grandmother's last name is Murray. Her mother's last name is Murray. My mother's last name is Murray. Now, I got my father's last name, but it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. My family's name is Murray. This Thomas Murray dude came into the area, Georgia statesman cat. He kicked all the people out. Now, I know Europeans was merging with the Cherokee that was there before they kicked them out. Because, you know, you got to get cool with the people before you kick them out. So they dwelt amongst each other for a while before all of this transpired. And it's just a deep, interesting thing that I ponder on. Because, like I said, my grandmother's name is Murray. But it's a deep thing I want you guys to grasp. My whole point is this. That whole Cherokee thing, the Indian thing, all of that is for confusion. It may not be on purpose, but that's what it is. It detaches you from the original people that were here. The dark-skinned, copper-colored, brown, leather-looking people. It distracts you from that. Because when we see Cherokee people today, they look kind of Caucasian. Really, truly throws you off, and we don't take into account time. Everything happened in its time. So prior to the white Caucasians coming here, you had many different tribes. One of them was the Aniyun, which became the Cherokee. You had the Choctaw. And I know they was called something else before they became that. Or that may have been the actual name, because it doesn't sound English. But Cherokee is. And I want y'all to grasp. When you hear Cherokee Nation and you see the flag and all of that stuff, this is after they have been conditioned somewhat into the European way. So they're adopting the European way as all of this is happening. But if you go back before they adopted these things, they were the Aniyun. Grasp that. And they were called that because they were the original people, meaning you got the Cherokee, not the Cherokee, but the Aniyun, which is the Cherokee, but the original. That tribe is one of the oldest tribes here. So you got the Cherokee, the Choctaw, and 3 other tribes I forgot. And they are like known as the oldest tribes that been here since like way before 1492. So it's a deep thing. Now, before they adopted the English language and all these things and was mixing and mingling with the Europeans, they referred to themselves as the Aniyun, the original people. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. The copper colors you see here that don't have no history, a lot of them are the Aniyun and other Native American tribes like the Choctaw and the Sioux. I forgot how you pronounce it. They pronounce it so weird. But a lot of us are the descendants of these people. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. The whole Cherokee thing and all of this is just truly confusing. My peoples probably own that Murray County area in Georgia, Dalton, Georgia. If I dig and look into my history, I guarantee you that my peoples got that name Murray because of that whole silly-ass incident. And prior to that happening, they were dwelling in that part of the land, and then when this guy came and pushed them out in that Trail of Tears Act, a lot of them went to the other places that the Cherokee had the land still. So the Cherokee had many areas, like South Carolina, North Carolina. They had parts in Georgia, parts in Michigan. The Cherokee had mad different areas. So when the Trail of Tears Act happened and people being pushed out of their land, like in Dalton, Georgia, that Murray County area, my peoples, I'm assuming, probably went to South Carolina, North Carolina. Whoever the people was that was there, the Cherokee that was there, they went to wherever their peoples was at, in other places. And I think that's how my grandmother and them basically was born in South Carolina in that tribe. And then when they were pushed out of there, because eventually around 1930, somewhere in that time, the people in the South Carolina and North Carolina areas, or maybe not the North Carolina areas, I'm not sure, but I know in the South Carolina areas, they began to push them out. And that's how my grandmother and them came to New York, and that's how I'm out here. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp, man. A lot of us got the history a little confused. And it's because we get too caught up into the book talk. You got to use the book, but then you got to have a little bit of real history. Luckily, my grandmother's still alive, and I can ask her things. Now, as all people in today's times, being as though things have been completely confused, my grandmother don't really know anything. But she just know what she know. And with that is so much knowledge in there. She know that they were kicked out of their tribe, and that's how she was born in New York in 1939. You look into the history of the Cherokee, you say, her story actually correlates. So this is how I know things that I know. You got to use the book, and you need a little reel to mix and get an understanding. But it's a deep thing. My grandmother don't even know nothing about the Wiya, as most people don't. Most people don't know what the Cherokee were called prior to the English name Cherokee. Because like I said, they didn't speak English. That came later. It's a deep thing. You got the Cherokee on the reserves and the Cherokee Nation out in Oklahoma. And these people are mostly, they got more European blood in them than the original Aniyun. And the black people you see today, a lot of us got more of the Aniyun blood, of course, than we got of the European. That's why we look still like brown leper, like a penny. In the Cherokee Native Americans you see now on the reserves, they don't. This is why. And it's a deep thing. They claimed what was theirs, which is ours as well. We just didn't claim nothing because, you know, the original Aniyun, which is us, we was being oppressed. Like my grandmother and them, They didn't have a time to claim nothing because black people get oppressed bad to where all they got time to do is really just think about how they're going to make it through the day. Being pushed out of this place and that place, as you see happening today. Today they call it gentrification. So in Harlem, you see half white, half black. Harlem is a black place, but it's half white, half black now. So they pushing the blacks out. So the same things are still happening. We have all of this as history. No, this is all continuing history. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. We got to start claiming things that's ours. We got to stop arguing about foolish things, because at the end of the day, we all got the description of what the Europeans described the people of looking like. We got that description. Out of all the people that's on America, we the only ones that don't know who we are. So you got to grasp, man. We got to start really getting, we got to really start getting things in order and really start grasping. I'm with the Cherokee people, no doubt. I don't separate myself from them in any way. I know I'm one with them. But I also know you have the Aniyun, which is the original people. And that's who I am truly one with. Those people. The Cherokee is just the mixed breeds, which I'm a mixed breed myself, which all black people you see today are mixed breeds. But we all know we have different proportions of European blood, Native American blood, and African blood within our genealogy. And I know I have more Native American blood than European. You can just look at me and see that. And I know the Cherokee that's on the reserves and the Cherokee Nation, they have more European blood than the Native. Just look at them. The thing is, they claimed, and we didn't, because like I said, we getting too oppressed. We can't really focus on nothing but that. But we got to find a way to focus on other things and truly start grasping, man. We being cheated out of so much life. You got Brothers Island not being occupied. You got Shooters Island. These are all lands in New York, little islands all around New York City. Brothers Island is, the zip code of Brothers Island is the Bronx. The address of Brothers Island is the Bronx. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Shooters Island, this is those Long Island little islands that's all scattered around Long Island. Shooters Island is one of those. It's a deep thing. You got many uninhabited places, all in New York and everywhere. And we can't get nothing. Because we can't get unified and situated and say, hey, we the Aniyun, we want that land. We need something. Y'all are pushing us out of everywhere. We can't live like that. They pushing us out of Harlem now by raising the prices. Back in the day, there was no prices. They was just taking land and fighting for land, so they was pushing us out that way. And now they pushing us out by raising the prices. And we just keep going from place to place, just losing our culture and our heritage in the process. Being more lost and more lost, generation after generation after generation. And it's a deep thing we got to grasp at some point. You got to be still at some point and get real. And be still and say, hold on. We got to get our own land because we keep getting pushed around from place to place. Brothers Island, I want that. It's a deep thing. The city owned it. They bought it for like $25 back in like 19-something. In 1970-something, they bought it for like $10. Because they was using Brothers Island as a quarantine. I forgot what war was going on, but they was using it as a quarantine for people that was sick. And they had a hospital built on Brothers Island, which is right in the Bronx, you could say, right in the Bronx. I forgot the Bronx River's name, but right there, sitting right there. It's a deep thing. They had a hospital there. It was used to quarantine people. But then as time went on, they got the hospitals in the city running and, the whole system up and running real good. So they didn't really need to quarantine people to that hospital. They had an abundance of hospitals all over New York City now. So Brothers Island kind of just got abandoned. Like nobody had a use to go there anymore. So it was just abandoned land since like 1960 something. Then the person that owned it, being as though it was abandoned, they had no use for it. The city bought it for like $70, $10. It was so cheap, I forgot the price, but it was cheap, like $10. And now the city owns that island, Brothers Island, right there in the Bronx. If you in the Bronx, you can just look at it. It's right there. It's a deep thing. I want it. Because we need our own land. It's a deep thing. Those that feel what I'm saying and they really truly grasp, man, this is the land that was took from us. And we need at least give us something back. If you feel me on that, and you know something that I can do to try to get that land, let me know. Because we got to start doing something. Those that feel like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with this Native American stuff, that's fine. You can be African. I could care less. But whoever grasps what I'm saying, got to start making things happen. It's a deep thing. That's why I pull to get this land. So people can learn true history, true wisdom. And at the same time, people can begin to learn how to self-sustain themselves, begin to understand resources again. Because we lost in paper money and slavery. We don't know how to do anything for ourselves. So it's a deep thing. This is why I push to get the land. But it's deeper than donations and things like this. I guess people think it's just a money thing. But if you got certain skills, you can donate yourself and help me get this going. I'm one man. I can't do the thing by myself. So, I need people to help me with this thing. So, a lot of people need to start getting real and just start helping me put things together. Certain people out there got land they ain't using. Be a part of this. Help me. Let's get this going. And this for the people. This ain't got nothing to do with me. But we all got to come together and start getting some things going. So, the donations, I don't really get donations. A lot of people just buy my book through my GoFundMe and whatever like that. I use the GoFundMe pretty much just for the balance, the $5 a month that I tell people to pay me for the knowledge. Donate $5 a month to my joint and we square on the knowledge that I give y'all. But as far as like real donations towards getting land, I don't really get none of that. But it is what it is. It don't really matter. At the end of the day, we need people. More than that, I need people. Because the people's the land. So I need the people to start, joining in. Everybody get my knowledge and then they be running and try to be fake solaces and fake teachers. We don't need no more teachers. We need land. I need people to help me with that. Don't get my knowledge and then run out and go try to be a fake teacher. You ain't on the level. But you know assist me in what I'm doing. If you ain't donating, that give and receive, I gave y'all knowledge and you ain't donating no money back, well, you could donate your time in some kind of way and help me to get what I'm trying to get done. Because I teach for that purpose, to get the land. I don't teach for the fun of it, to talk to y'all. For attention. If I was doing this for attention, my channel would be more drama filled. I wouldn't sit in the same place having peaceful discussions with you guys. You gotta grasp. So it ain't about that. It's about we gotta get it together. That's the main thing. And I just want y'all to understand, man, it's a lot of confusion, like with the Cherokee thing and the Wiya thing, and a lot of things got to get situated out and balanced out. But it's a deep thing. This is why when people tell me, "Oh, you African," and I know what I know. Like, I don't got time for people to be pushing their conditioned thoughts on me, because Africa's a big place of many different nations, and until you tell me what nation in Africa I'm from, you just talking. The slaves that were brought here from Africa, they didn't even know what nation in Africa they were from. Most of them came from Europe. They was brought from Africa to Europe first, then brought here. So they don't even know who they were. So when we pull for this African stuff, it's like, give it a rest. It don't add up. And it don't really add up. So then, brothers got to reach the BC times and say, well, before, the Native Americans is the Africans, and get all this crazy, weird stuff, and let's just stop doing that. Dr. Umar Johnson has his cause, which is this African thing, and let that just be that. But that ain't got nothing to do with no reality. As far as I know, white people say go back to Africa. Then I heard Dr. Umar Johnson say it. But as far as I always know, my grandmother always said we was Cherokee Indian. And a lot of people that I know and grow up with, they was told they whole life that they had Indian in their family as well. Nothing about Africa. So you just take this little Native American jewel I just gave you and build on it. If you happen to be or think that you're a part of the Cherokee people, well, now you know the difference between the Cherokee and the Aniyun, which is just, the Cherokee is just the mixed breeds, the European and the Aniyun. And the Aniyun is just the original people, the original copper-colored people before they spoke English and had a title called Cherokee and all of this. So it's just a deep thing I want you guys to grasp. Watch this video again so you could, let it soak in. And like I said, this is Black History Month, so I'll be coming back to do more on Native American. I'm gonna break down some African history too, because I'm not against African culture, nothing like that. I don't want y'all to get confused. I just want people to know where they from. Like the African thing is kind of like theoretical. You got a lot of guesses, and being as though as many different nations in Africa. When we say we from Africa, it's confusion because it's like where. So that whole African teaching thing is still trying to be sorted out, like where we from and how that actually worked, and it's a lot with that that's still being sorted out. But as far as the Native American history go, it's a little more sorted. So grasp, you pull from what you get as much truth as you can get from. So what I just broke down to y'all, you take that, man, and you grasp. And like I said, I'm going to do some more. If you happen to be Choctaw or one of the other tribes, and you see like your tribe has a English name now, well, you just refer to this video and how I broke it down with the Cherokee and the Aniyun, and just understand that your tribe ain't no different. It was copper-colored peoples, and then, over time with the mixing and mingling with the Europeans, the people begin to get lighter. They begin to adopt the English language, and this is how tribe names begin to change into American-sounding names, and the Native Americans begin to start to look like half white and light-skinned and all this weird stuff, and so you today times where the Native Americans are on the reserves with the straight hair, damn near white. And that's how that happened. And I'm speaking for those that's in South America too. Colombians are black as fuck. Excuse my language. Colombians are dark skinned. So we need to get things clear. Colombia, Cuba, copper color, land of people. Same with DR, same with Puerto Rico. Haiti as well. DR and Puerto Rico is the same place. A gate separates it. So you know that it's the same place. So fully grasp what I'm telling you. Copper color people. Now I know you say, no, Puerto Ricans, they ain't copper color. Like I said, Europeans mixed and mingled with the originals. If you go back before the Europeans came, the Dominicans, copper color people. The Puerto Ricans, they were over in Spain and Italy somewhere. So you got to grasp. That's what a Puerto Rican is. The mixing and mingling of the original Native American that was in DR Puerto Rico lands, the Native American copper people that were there, when those from Spain and Italy came over there and merged with them, that's how you get this Puerto Rican thing. And that's why Puerto Ricans don't like Dominicans. And they don't even know why, really, but they just know they don't like them. And that's why. Because Puerto Ricans, they got the native ancestry in them, but they got mostly Spain, mostly European. That's why they look white. And that's why the Dominicans look like me. Because they got more of the original blood of the natives that was there at that time. And that's how it is for us all. The Puerto Ricans, they kind of oppress the Dominicans. The Puerto Ricans are racist towards the Dominicans. They call them Negro and shit like that. And this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. The Dominicans, the black people, Dominicans associate themselves with the Puerto Ricans because they got Puerto Ricans in their family and this shit confuses them. They don't realize you really more aligned with the black people that's on the land. Y'all are the native originals. Y'all are the closest thing to the original people that were here. And all these other people y'all associate yourselves with, these are the mixed breeds, meaning when the European nations came and merged with the natives, the originals, then you got all these different kind of mixed breeds, and some look closer to the European, and like us, we look closer to the original. But you get a lot of confusion because you got those that look closer to the European claiming the original. And the originals is confused like, well, if they that, then who are we? We must be Africans then. And this is how that confusion happened. And it's just a sad thing because in the midst of all of that, we get nothing. It's a deep, cold-blooded thing, man. But it's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Sunset Solace, Sunset, whichever one you like best. We got to get back to our Native American culture. I got a video called Death and Knowing Names. Watch that video because the knowing names part of that video is very important. It correlates with Native American history and how our names correlated with life. They had names like Sitting Bull and Running Turtle and names that had to do with the life. Your name was an expression of yourself. It let a person know who you were before they even met you. If his name was Running Bull, you know he was a powerful, energetic person. Because they wouldn't have named him that unless that's how he was. Your name was an expression of the life. Your name was an expression of your character. Then Europeans came and started changing things. Then you get a name like John and Jimmy, which don't mean nothing that got to do with your character. Now when you're like, oh, I'm about to meet Jimmy, you ain't got no sense of perspective of his character. Because his name don't correlate with nothing. You like, is Jimmy a good dude? I don't know. In the past, the Native Americans was more pure with it. His name represent himself. When you hear his name, you're going to know him. You ain't got to meet him. Just hear his name. You'll know the type of person he is. My name, Wise Servant. You already know what you about to meet when you hear that. Okay, I'm about to meet somebody wise. But they like a servant in some type of sense. So it's a deep thing y'all got to grasp. If a man's name was Howling Wolf, you know he was loud and fierce. And it's just a deep thing. The name had meanings. Now the name don't mean nothing. And it's deep. It's just a lot of culture and things being lost. But we still do the same things that we used to, like I said, man. The Native Americans used to run around, making all that noise they made, and you see the gang members, the black gang members today, they do the same thing still. Brat, 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 and they just make a whole bunch of silly-ass noise, doing the same old things that they always did. So it don't matter how lost you get in the life, you're going to always do what you do. And I'm telling y'all, y'all got the ways of the natives, not the Africans. Just look at the dumb shit y'all do. Same dumb shit they did. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. It's cold-blooded. But It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Peace and wisdom.